You've been told your whole life that renting is throwing money away. That belief has cost millions of Americans more wealth than almost any other financial mistake they ever made. Not because renting is always better, but because people buy homes based on cultural mythology, not math. I'm Stella. Today, I'm going to show you the actual numbers, every cost most people never calculate, and the 3 situations where buying genuinely makes no financial sense right now. Stay until the end, because the framework I give you will change how you think about every housing decision for the rest of your life. Here's what most people think the cost of buying a home is: the mortgage payment. Here's what it actually is. Take a $400,000 home, 20% down, that's $80,000 gone from your investment portfolio on day one. The mortgage on the remaining $320,000 at 6.5% over 30 years costs you $408,000 in interest alone. Not principal, interest. Add property taxes. National average 1.1% annually, $132,000 over 30 years. Add maintenance at 1% per year, $120,000. Add insurance, $48,000. Add transaction costs when you buy and sell, typically 8 to 10% of the home's value. On a $400,000 home, that's up to $40,000. The total non-equity cost of owning a $400,000 home over 30 years, approximately $748,000, on top of repaying the $320,000 you borrowed. And here's the number the real estate industry never mentions. Nobel Prize-winning economist Robert Shiller tracked U.S. home prices since 1890. Inflation-adjusted appreciation over 126 years, 0.4% per year, not 4%. Point 4. Housing has historically been a store of value, not an investment. Now let's talk about the 3 specific situations where buying makes no financial sense, and you need to be honest with yourself about whether you're in one of them. First, you're planning to stay fewer than 5 years. Transaction costs of 8 to 10% must be recovered through appreciation before you break even. At typical national appreciation rates, that takes 5 to 7 years minimum. Someone who buys and sells in 4 years almost always loses money compared to renting. If there's any real chance you'll move, rent. Second, the price-to-rent ratio in your city is above 20. The price-to-rent ratio is the single most useful metric for this decision. Take the home's purchase price and divide by annual rent for a comparable home. A ratio above 20 means renting and investing. The difference will statistically outperform buying in most scenarios. San Francisco, 35, New York, 30, Seattle, 28, Los Angeles, 31, Memphis, 12, St. Louis, 11, Pittsburgh, 13. Same decision, completely different math depending on where you live. Third, you haven't modeled the opportunity cost of your down payment. A 20% down payment on a $500,000 home is $100,000. That $100,000 invested in a diversified index fund at 7% annual returns instead of sitting as home equity grows to approximately $387,000 over 20 years. In many markets, home appreciation over the same 20 years, net of all ownership costs, does not beat that number. The down payment is real capital with real opportunity cost. Run that calculation before you sign anything. Let me make this real with one story. In 2023, a 31-year-old software engineer in Seattle had $120,000 saved and a decision to make. Option A, buy a $680,000 condo at 7.1%. Total monthly ownership cost approximately $4,800. Option B, keep renting at $2,400 per month and invest the $120,000 plus the $2,400 monthly difference. He modeled both over 10 years. Buying, assuming 4% annual appreciation, historically generous for Seattle condos, produced estimated net equity after transaction costs of $280,000. Renting and investing, approximately $410,000 in investment assets. He chose to rent, he chose to invest. Seattle condo prices were flat to slightly negative through 2024. His portfolio outperformed the projection. He is not anti-homeownership. He intends to buy when the price-to-rent ratio makes sense. He simply refused to make a $680,000 decision based on a cultural belief instead of a spreadsheet. Quick question, drop it in the comments. Have you ever actually calculated the total cost of buying in your market? Not just the mortgage, everything. What did you find? I'll read every single comment. Here's the practical framework. 3 steps. Takes 20 minutes. Step 1. Look up your city's price-to-rent ratio right now. Below 15, buying is financially competitive. Between 15 and 20, it depends on your holding period. Above 20, renting and investing deserves serious modeling first. Step 2. Run the New York Times rent versus buy calculator. It's free. It incorporates appreciation assumptions, investment returns, tax treatment, and all ownership costs. Use realistic numbers, not optimistic ones. The link is in the description. Step 3. Model the opportunity cost of your down payment explicitly. Take the down payment amount, compound it at 7% for your intended holding period, and compare that number to your expected net equity after all costs. If buying still wins, buy. If it doesn't, you just saved yourself a very expensive mistake. Renting is not throwing money away, it is paying for housing, which is what buying is too, through interest, taxes, insurance, maintenance, and opportunity cost. The most expensive home in America is not the one with the highest listing price. It's the one bought at the wrong price-to-rent ratio, held for too short a period by someone who never asked whether buying was actually the better choice. Run the numbers before you find out you were that person. If this changed how you think about the buy versus rent decision, subscribe to Stella Insights. Every single day, one financial decision explained clearly. No noise, no agenda, just the math that matters. The NYT calculator link is in the description. Run your numbers tonight. See you tomorrow.